we talk a lot. We have a saying in our program that defeat and victory are both a part of competition. So there's only one of two things are going to happen. So we came here to win. So I'm disappointed that we didn't win. But I do the big picture, which is what I have to keep our head on, is there's value sometimes and honor a little bit in losing if you compete at a level that provides hope. And I think our guys are going to walk out of here with hope that we're learning. We're not ducking anyone. We're taking big time chances. We're taking big time risks. And like, how do we do things a little bit better? Because it's 59-55 with like 11 minutes or maybe less to go. And like, how do we just keep doing what we were doing for 31 or 30 minutes and finish it down the end? And that's what we have to learn how to do. But the only way you learn how to do it is to be in these shared experiences together. But there's honor in the way we competed out here today.
Glenn, please go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you in that last part of the second half, how much was their ability to get out in transition and drive to the basket? Was that the determining factor down the stretch?
Well, statistically, for sure, it is. But then you got to go to like what led to that. And it was a little bit of poor floor balance on shooting. We took some long shots, a little bit fatigued. We crashed the offensive glass. We didn't get it. Our first three strides weren't great getting back. And, I think our guys maybe their spirit could break a little bit. You just can't do that for even a half a second. There's no option but to compete on every play when you're playing against great teams. So that will be the deciding factor in the game, because statistically that's what it says it is. But the reasons that it got to that, some of those things were within our control, and some of it Kansas just has great players, and that's what they do.
Michael, please go ahead.
Coach, what's going on, man?
So Michael, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. Coach, what do you think, in the first half, you come out and score 25 in the first 10 minutes, and then in the second half you score 10 in the first 2 minutes pretty much. What changed as far as the ball movement? That it looked like it became more stagnant, later in the half, in each half. What do you think led to that?
Yeah, well, it looked that way because it was that way. One, Kansas's defense. I'd say they deserve credit. Sometimes the opponent's just not going to agree with what they did. And then we just stopped playing total basketball. Like the way this roster is made up, we need total basketball players. We cannot just have one screen setter out there. All five guys have to do that. You got to cut. And sometimes you're going to cut and not get it, particularly against their switches. But you might not get it, but you've now made the defense shift, and then the next guy might catch it and be able to attack a closeout, and we didn't do that. And we have decent one-on-one players. We have some really good one-on-one players. But one-on-one off an isolated dribble is not at all how we want to play in most situations. So we just did that too much, and I think that's what the difference was. But also, Kansas's defense deserves credit.
Josh Verlin, please go ahead.
Billy, through two games, haven't gotten a ton of production yet from Ramir Moore, Cam Brown. Greg Foster hasn't shot it well. Is that something that's a concern for you through these two games, or do you chalk that up to, beginning of the season and the level of opponent you're playing?
I mean, I'm a coach. Everything's a concern. It's just I'm not intensely concerned. It's just, all right, how do we get them better? So, like, what do we need to do to produce? Is it confidence? Is it spirit? Is it player development? More of it? Is it getting these guys used to playing with different people? So it's like just searching for the answers of those. But I have no doubt in any of those guys. We want them to stay on the attack. And, 5 for 9 and 1 for 9 is a very fine line. It's just a few more makes here or there. We believe in those guys, and we'll continue to ask them to be aggressive.
Jesse Newell, please go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Kansas went 5 out for about the last 18 minutes. What do you think that did for them?
Anytime any team goes 5 out, whether it's Kansas or not, it makes your defense have to have a heavy emphasis on the shifts of your help. So that all that does is just make us have to come in more. They have a great player in McCormick who they chose not to play. So it put them in a different offensive mode. But that's nothing that we don't see every day when we compete in our training sessions. But what it does is it just puts a heavy emphasis on your off-ball defense.
Alex Martin, please go ahead.
Coach, you went 6-26 last year, yet you continue to schedule real tough. You got Villanova coming up here in a couple days. Do you just feel like this is the best way to develop your program to have your kids face this tough competition and see what they're made of?
Yeah, I mean, last year I don't even think about it. Like that's just a totally different chapter in the story. So I don't connect those two things. So what I do is I look at this team and I look at what the vision is for St. Joe's, built on this incredible foundation that I was able to inherit here. And that's exactly what you just said. It's like let's wake up, let's create a vision, let's create an identity that is kind of there. It's aligned with the spirit of our university. Like we're resilient, we're optimistic, we're faithful, and these are great games to do it. Plus, we're in a pandemic, and like this was not the way our schedule was supposed to be. So we're trying to find games and grow at the same time. But this is not what the schedule looked like at the beginning. But we'll do whatever. We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's the spirit of our program.
Take one more from DeMichael, and then we'll move on to Dahmir.
Coach, how would you explain the correlation between, missing a lot of those shots early in the shot clock that led to a lot of transition baskets for Kansas?
Well, I mean, if they're long threes, they're going to equal long rebounds. So, we have to have either you're going to the glass or you're getting back. And we give them great freedom in that. But we ask them, like, when we review it, you have to be doing one or the other. And usually when you try to play with pace, it takes time for guys to learn how to like play in the second split of the shot clock. Like anybody can play with pace in the first split of the shot clock. And sometimes you'll get good shots and sometimes you're going to take some poor ones. But it's the patience with the pace to play in the second split that might have eliminated some of those runouts that they got. But I would actually say they correlate great. It's a great point by you.
Thanks, Coach. We'll bring up Dahmir next.
Okay, Dahmir Bishop. Whatever you're comfortable with. Okay.
All right, we'll take questions for Dahmir. DeMichael, go ahead.
Dahmir, I remember in the summer when I was talking to Coach, he was saying that shooting was the main thing that he discussed with you as far as, wanting to see you get better at. And 2 games, you look like you shot the ball a lot better. Just explain the work that you've put in to improve your jumper.
Me and Coach, as soon as I got on Hawk Hill, me and Coach really locked in, and he told me the things that he wanted me to get better at. So from that point on, from last year, I was just really getting that work done and getting in that gym with him, and like adding Jack Forrest and like Taylor Funk being the hard worker that he is. I like kind of picked up some things from them, like trying to be like a sponge during practice and stuff, and I really came out here confident and shot the ball well.
Glenn, please go ahead.
Hey, Dahmir, early in the game, really for like the first half and into the second half, the team was offensively playing well, shooting the ball well. And is that something now you can build on, as the year goes on, that giving you the confidence in the offense?
Yeah, of course it is. Confidence is really key to all. So me hitting those shots, knocking those shots down, it's going to take me a long way, especially against coming up playing against better teams, and just like moving on. Period. It's going to give me a lot of confidence. Me playing with confidence I feel like is a dangerous thing. So yeah, it will.
Alex Martin, please go ahead.
Yeah, so you guys down here were competitive for about 75 out of the 85 minutes. Very competitive. What do you think, from your perspective, you guys need to do to take that next step? And when you start playing some of these other teams to put some wins on the board?
I mean, we're a young group, and we haven't played games in a while, obviously. So us getting out here and learning, this is good for us. I mean, we're sharing experiences all together on the court. So I think us coming out here and playing these good teams, these great teams, high ranked teams, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good for us in the long run, and I think it will be good for us to try to start locking in more, especially in practices. And we're just going to take things more seriously. We know we have to take things more seriously. So we can really start getting wins on the board.
Last one, Josh Verlin.
Hey, Dahmir, just to go back to the shooting confidence thing, because it looked like yesterday you had a couple, 2 or 3 opportunities in the first half. You had open shots and passed them up, and then all of a sudden, the second half, you were taking those looks. Did anybody say anything to you? Was it a self check? How did what was the change there?
It honestly, people were telling me to shoot the ball, but honestly, it was a self check. Like I just remember like why I came here and what I came here to do, and like from there, I just told myself I do this. I had to tell myself that I do this, and I came out and I started shooting the ball, and that's what happened.
Thank you, Dahmir. We'll have Kansas up shortly.